Welcome to the Depth Perception Podcast.
We go in depth about the perception and misconceptions of optometry,
which include the business of optometry,
social issues within optometry,
and life as an optometry student.
Coming straight from Dr. Jasdeep Singh Soni,
Dr. Nadia Afghami,
Dr. Douglas Akiti,
and Dr. Svetlana Nunez. We hope you enjoy this episode.
All right, the Depth Perception Podcast coming to you live at the end of the year, guys. Can you believe we already reached it?
Crazy.
Not at all.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Whoa.
That was a lot of energy. Love it.
We need the energy. It's the end of the year. That's what I just said. Oh, all right. It's the end of the year, guys. We got the whole team here, the whole squad. You know, with the end of the year, we got holidays, and everybody knows it's been tough to get us all here, but we are here. So let's make it fun. Let's make it worth our time. Does anybody have a favorite pod they'd like to talk about that they remember from this year, or a favorite topic that they had from this year? What do you think, Nadia?
I liked the podcast with, I'm trying to think. We did so many good ones for the whole.
We did.
We're talking about like the whole year, right? Not like just.
Talking about the whole year, 2025.
Not
That means we
just
got lots
like,
of options.
okay.
Yeah.
I liked the What If We Were an Optometrist podcast
Ooh.
because I feel like it really gave us like an insight of like us personality wise. And it was like a good discussion of like what we would do. Some of them were surprising. If you guys haven't listened to it, go back, and re-listen. But yeah, I really thought that was like a good, it's almost like one of those personality tests,
I know. It makes sense why Doug is such a good host, like he did at Vision Expo, or like why you'd be good, like a good DJ or a host in general, or SV when she puts her makeup on. I'm like, wow, she could be like an artist at Disney World, or Disneyland. It's kind of like these pieces are part of you still, right? Even if we are optometrists in our other like lives, it's like they're like completely gone.
Yeah, I think that one was super cool because we were able to just find out a little bit more about each other, and you don't end up asking each other some of these kind of questions. So like, it definitely was cool to see like our other side, things we've done that we just didn't know. So you're being a whole princess. That's crazy.
I'd come see you.
I thought that was her middle name.
No, guys, definitely that was a good one. We really got to connect, and Doug's right. Like, we don't ask each other, hey, what would have you done if we weren't optometrists? Because our friendship kind of started because we're all optometrists. So it's kind of a weird thing of what would have happened. So if you haven't listened to that episode, you should listen to it. I think one of my favorite episodes was what I didn't learn in optometry school, because we did a podcast on it. We brought it to Vision Expo where we all spoke on stage as a podcast together. We fulfilled Nadia's dream, podcast dream. It was Nadia's dream, and we did it. So I think that was amazing. And it's just crazy how that was a pod. And then we brought it into like more of a conversational setting, presentation. And then I think another one that was one of my favorites, that's like really funny because there's so many like background stories. It's the podcast that like I didn't have Wi-Fi for, and I was like in the mountains in Tahoe, was the year by year tips for like surviving or thriving in optometry school. So like behind the scenes, I was not gonna make that pod, and then I made it, but then you would have never known that unless I shared it right now. But at the end of the day, that pod did really well. I think all our student podcasts, for student content really goes well with our viewers.
Did you have a favorite takeaway from, you said in Vegas we talked about like things you can apply that you didn't learn in optometry school? Do you have like a favorite takeaway now that you're not in optometry school, or anything you remember from that in case our listeners weren't there?
I think I would say the imposter syndrome one, like, because we talked about multiple different subjects, but I think imposter syndrome is just one that just sticks with you when you just recently graduated, and it sticks with you because you're always questioning your diagnosis, whatever you have to prescribe, and you're just like,
not only that, but remember how like people came up to us afterwards, and like even like the people on the show floor that were just working there were like talking about imposter syndrome and stuff. So
they're about to keep their job.
Say that. They're like, yeah, we definitely took away from what you were saying, and you don't have to be in optometry to like really embrace it and understand what you guys are saying. So they love that part. And that was the coolest part to me, that we were able to connect with people who aren't even in our industry.
Yeah, I think now that you guys brought that up, that was one of our big takeaways from Vision Expo, that we connected with like the optometry community and like the entire, just anyone at Vision Expo, if they were like security, if they were like cameraman, like everyone at Vision Expo related to our talk. And that was That was crazy. It was like we didn't think we were going to impact so many lives that way.
I mean, just to add to that too, it was crazy to even just have that opportunity. But shout out to Vision Expo for allowing us to be on the panel and have our own discussion. I feel like that just is going to open up brand new doors for us and more opportunities to come. That was definitely one of my favorite moments of the year. But if we're just talking about podcasts that we did, because us live is always going to be the best, right? But I really enjoyed the Dress to Impress episode because, like, if you just think about like who thinks about the color of scrubs and how that makes a difference and like how like sometimes especially these days with all these different colors and things that are coming out, but you sometimes don't think about how patients perceive you or others perceive you based on just the color you're wearing or what you're combining with that. Are you wearing fashion sneakers? Are you wearing Pradas? Are you wearing dirty sneakers? Are you wearing UGG boots, or are you wearing dress shoes? So it's just cool. I feel like that was a cool conversation. And if you didn't check it out, definitely tune into that because that was one of my favorites.
I no longer wear a sweatshirt to clinic, so thank you so much. I wear
Mm,
Wait,
no
wait.
more hoodies.
Sweatshirt? Yeah, hoodies. No hoodie.
no more
Yeah,
hoodies.
I feel JD though because it's like you want to be cozy sometimes and it'd be
It's so
cold.
cozy. It gets so cold.
I like
But
that jacket now. JD, look at you.
Look at
yeah,
this.
what is
This
that? A fig?
Ooh, ah.
Line, okay, bro.
You
Let me
know,
know.
it was a moment that changed my life, like a butterfly effect moment. So that was
Oh,
clearly
Oh,
wow.
my favorite
What a
episode because
segue.
I know, right? There's been plenty of moments like when I think about it, I'm like, whoa, this could
That
change my
was
life. And
fire.
like that podcast, huh?
That was fire. So I didn't object, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right. Like I think I realized I say a lot yes to a lot of stuff because of that pod because I'm like this could change the course of my life. Like because there have been moments that do change the course of your life, right? Let's go to Vegas and speak because this could change the course of my life. Let me take this job opportunity because it's gonna change the course of my life. So I think I say a lot of yes stuff because outcomes one little outcome could change the course of it, right? So I really love that pod. That kind of inspired me.
I also really like the pod where we answered the questions from
Yeah, we need more.
the Speak Up or what is it? The Speak Now?
speak
Right?
pipe,
Speak,
I
speak
think.
pipe.
Speak Pipe
Speak
app.
pipe.
Yeah. So, it was cool to like hear from people who are like listening to the pod and being able to like answer the questions. It really felt like we were like connecting with like, not just our screens and each other, but actually like people who are, actually listening to us.
That's a fact. That was really cool. And so we got to definitely keep incorporating that because I feel like it keeps the listeners connected with us too. And they might be excited to want to see if their questions get answered as well.
Right?
Um,
There's so much we can bring out here. I guess okay. So we talked about what was our favorite, right? And maybe things that impacted us. In a different way, what is a topic that we discussed that you think we're going to discuss again next year because it's important enough to discuss?
It's a really great question, and it's I think we were just talking about the other day, and maybe it's not from like this year, but is it from like this year, JD, or previous years?
I'm gonna open the bar up to anything.
Okay, because I think that we should go back and we have a lot of like fun podcasts. I think some more informational podcasts for like students would be good. And I think that's something that we do want to bring like more how to's and how do you get there? How do you do this and that? I think more instructions, more advice that way would be great. And we've done that in the past, but maybe doing it in a different twist, bring people in, just have it more structured, less banter. Who knows? Because banter and just us laughing and saying silly things like that's part of us. But I think more information to our students would be good.
More high two guides. Okay, so is there any specific thing in becoming a student like that you wanted to us that you think we should do a how to for?
Yes. Should I mention them now or should we save it for later?
Ooh, I do what you think's best.
you could give a sneak peek if you like. Let them know what to expect.
That's true. I think like how to study, how to interview, maybe how to residency would be some good ones. And we've touched on those topics already, but again, more of a how to.
Audience, feel free to write in what suggestions you might want to hear from us. What do you want more advice about in school, out of school? What you wish you knew? All the things. Let us know. Put in the comments.
What do you think, Doug?
I think the topic of AI is never gonna die. I think we're gonna keep talking about it as it keeps advancing, as things keep pushing forward. I think that's gonna be a revolving topic that we'll keep somehow mentioning and having to bring up. And it's gonna seem annoying, but I think it's just like this is where we're going these days.
This is going to help the algorithm, man. So good work. Keep talking about AI.
Exactly. Looking forward
Okay.
to that.
Do you feel like there's an angle with optometry that we haven't really touched on that could be expanded more on?
As it relates to AI,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, we've already talked about it twice, like I said, so it's like I don't know what more we could talk about, but I just think these things will continue to come up. I think
Fair enough.
okay, in terms of helping students, giving back those things, how to incorporate AI in your studies is a big one that
Mhm.
I'm actually looking into, and I feel like we'll be able to expound upon that more as the months come pass by.
On the AI topic, I do have a comment. I think that at some point we should try to review, like, when oh, what's it called? I don't really know what the term would be, but it's like when there's an AI program and it like listens to the whole exam and then it summarizes everything.
Transcribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barty has that.
Oh, so that would be repeating podcast,
There you go. Nadia, what about you? Speaking of party, or
I think we talked about that in the AI podcast. I think that I really like when we have our guests. So I think obviously the topics are like how we practice and learning from each other and like how private practices are different probably in like other countries or how we might practice like ophthalmology versus optometry and things like that. So I think that like we've talked about like practice and like optometry different modalities before, but I think that will be a big topic still going forward.
yeah, shout out to our guests. Let's like dive into that a little bit. We had a few of them this past year. Who was
We
your
did.
favorite?
How could you pick a favorite?
I know
Yeah.
it's a bad question, but
I was just looking through the list. I'm gonna connect a guess to what my answer would be, what I think we're gonna talk about next year too. So I guess a couple pods that I was looking at was I always think the job stuff is gonna come up because that's something I'm passionate about and something that's always gonna be growing. But we also did a pod about like goals and values, and I think those two things go hand in hand. And if I had to tie a guess in with that, Herbir was talking about like the stepping stones of success, and I still remember when he was talking about like how he joined his college groups or how he, like all the stuff that he did before that led him to where he is today. And I think some of that stuff we forget, like the big picture when it comes to our career. And so I think that stuff we're going to be talking about more and more as we get deeper in our career. Like, wow, do you remember that butterfly moment 7 years ago when I took that internship or when I did that rotation or when I met that person at a conference that led me to where I am now? Like, for example, Nadia's might be interviewing Barty, right? And then doing Barty at her practice or things like that, right? So I think those are going to be more topics that we're going to highlight. And that's one guest that I enjoyed as well.
Yeah. I like Shaminder. I liked kind of hearing his like he's such a good speaker, right? Like he like we could just let him go for the like next 2 hours and he'd still have something to say. And interestingly, right? Like it's not like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just so like it was very engaging. It was really nice to like hear his like origin stories and like where he's at right now with his life and all that because we kind of connected with him during Vision Expo, but we didn't really get to know him on that level. So it was really cool to be able to have that and also be able to share it with the audience. I also like Dr. Wynn's perspective about like the LinkedIn, right?
Mhm.
Because we need to utilize that more. And I think it's so helpful to learn about other modalities that we can connect on.
shout outs to Dr. Ryan Corte because, with his podcast, Ryan Reflects, we had a great collaboration pod. I like when we do that, we collaborate with other podcasts and go back and forth. So that was cool getting to know him and just connecting on a deeper level. What were you going to say, sir?
I was gonna mention Ryan, so I'm glad that you mentioned him because I think when we collabed with him, he was super like excited to talk to all of us and like he was asking questions about each one of us and about where we were at. So I think that felt very special on that podcast. And then our last guest of the year was Dr. Vito Meta. And of course, we have a very close relationship with him as well. And I mean, he's helped Doug and I with different opportunities too. So there's just like a lot of, I think we had a lot of guests that were our friends and that have helped us. And giving them like a platform to share their stories was just like a beautiful thing this last year.
So beautiful. I know. So one of our first podcasts we did was like networking. We're essentially networking here, right? And like some of these guests that we're with, like guys, I'm sure you guys have noticed like our friendships are way better. Like I visited Angelica in Miami, and we went to the beach together. We hung out, but all because like we did this podcast together. Or Dr. Solani, he's hanging out with us in Vision Expo. Or I got to help recruit a doctor for him because of this podcast. Or I become an Alcon speaker because Fayez was one of our guests and really felt connected and wanted to recommend us. Like even Josh David said, I see that guy every conference and he loves us, right? Like he wants to hug us. He sends us stuff. Like this podcast is changing our friendships and lives. Like, and so those are 4 guests I want to shout out that I love seeing every time I see them in person.
I was just gonna add to the Angelica thing. That's our homie now. Like at Vision Expo, she was with us. We had lunch with her. Anytime it's just like making these connections. We just are
The 5th
building
member or what? 5th member of the pod?
low key.
We forgot about Chad. Chad was like an original OG. You guys
He hasn't been on
remember?
the pod,
We
so I
have
don't know.
to have Chad on the pod,
It sounds like we need a tryout. Should we have a tryout for a 5th member?
5 schedules now?
What do we got to do to make
Wow.
them try out to be on the pod?
Up
What should
right
we do?
now.
We have to send a 5-minute video why they should be on the pod. Like what else should we make them do?
An
Make a reel?
audition.
2 reels,
Everyone.
1 pod.
Guys, I cannot imagine 5 schedules. Like, just so everyone listening, it takes us so many messages to meet, like, right now. And this meeting was moved. I missed the last pod because I was sick. We almost didn't do this one today. Like, podcasting is a lot of fun, but takes a lot of work. How many assistants have we had this year? Like, there's a lot of behind the scenes.
Assistant. We found the one.
The new assistant's the best if you're listening, though, or the new teammate.
Yeah. Shout out.
Yes, she is the best. You know who you are. Who's watching?
All of them, they helped us in different ways. Shout outs to y'all. We appreciate the work that y'all did. Let's put that there too.
I was gonna say that like we are lucky because we do have a lot of connections. Like if we had a pod every single day for the whole like month, we'd probably have enough guests to fill it because we're so blessed to have people that are like willing to support the podcast and supporting us and all that. And I know that we have a lot of people that we have in mind that we're reaching out to slowly, but if you haven't been asked, you're gonna be asked. So don't worry about that. We have our long laundry list of people that we are working on.
Yeah, and I think this next year, like moving on to like 2026, this next year, what we're trying to do is like have a podcast of just the 4 of us and guests, 4 of us and guests. Like that's one of our goals. And with that, we'll be able to knock down that laundry list of all the guests that we want. Because there's so many individuals that like we've been saying for the last 2 years, but then our schedules don't align. Just us meeting more than once a month, twice a month is a lot. It's hard sometimes. So, and then we have life changes. We had weddings, graduations, businesses started, exams taken, like there's so much, but then it's nice when we come back together and record.
Salud.
Great year.
It's kind of funny when you were saying that. Like, obviously, our personal lives influence a lot, right? Like, if we didn't all get along, this pod wouldn't happen. I guess it's kind of interesting to see, right? When we started this pod, we're talking about things that are happening in school, mental health, boards, right? Those are topics that are relevant in our lives. I guess as we go on, there's gonna be new topics that are relevant, right? Do you think there's anything next year for any of you that you want to shout out that are relevant to your life that might influence, optometry topics or guests or things like that? Anything come to your head with that?
I really want to talk to. Can I mention names?
I'm okay with it.
I really want to do. Okay, these are my ideas, guys. Now that we're having pod ideas, I really want to do the podcast with Dr. Cantos because I really think she has 2 thriving businesses in Chicago, and we could all kind of learn from that. So looking forward to reaching out to her. I'm gonna reach out to her. She's asked a few times why we haven't. I'm like, we're getting to it. We're getting to it. So she'd be cool. I'd like to do. I don't know how we would do it, but like have an admissions officer from one of the schools come on. So we can talk like, hey, like what are you guys actually reading? Like when you're reading like personal statements, like what are you guys looking for? So I thought that could be cool. And then
I have connections. We're doing that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And then I was also thinking like if we had somebody from like KMK, like a tutor or someone come on and be like, what are the biggest mistakes you're seeing? Or like what can we do to like be better on our exams and all this stuff. Because I think like a lot of people who are listening are either like going through that right now, or they're applying right now, or they're starting a business. So it's nice to have that like range, and I think we do a good job of like having like a wide scope of topics. So I'd like to continue that this next year.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of ideas of like we keep talking about like how we're young ODs, but now that I'll be around, next year I'll be around like a year out. Doug is going on like 2-3 years out. Nadia, you're 4. JD's like 10. So, but like we're
I
like,
graduated in 22. It's only 2025.
oh, okay, so my math is totally wrong, but but like
Close.
it's like okay, I'm learning a lot of different things already, and there's a lot of still things that I don't know. And as next year goes on, I think we'll know more things that we didn't know and that we're ready to talk about.
Doug, any other topics that you think would be relevant or that you think you'd want to discuss more next year?
The one that comes to mind is a conversation with VSP. I haven't really mentioned it on here, I don't think, but I was one of 22, 25 people who were the first round cohort of Future Leader Academy with VSP members. So I definitely want to talk about that experience, talk about how that elevated my leadership game and how I learned a lot more about leadership, and just want to talk to the experts, the people who were a part of that, and what they strive for, what they're looking for, and just to help people understand what that's about. Because it was a really amazing experience. And again, we talk about networking here all the time. I mean, it was just such an amazing thing to be able to like meet people who are like us, young like us, but doing so many cool things. And it's just like, it's crazy. Like one guy has a practice right out of school. There's one girl who's she's a lawyer and an optometrist. Like everybody, like so many cool people are doing cool things. And yeah, I can't wait to talk more about that.
That's so cool. But way to go, Doug, future leader here. Tell us, is there anything you want to like touch upon like that experience or any takeaways that you've like been applying from that experience?
I don't know. Can't think off top. There's so many things. I think it all comes back to leaders, networking. I think they did a great job in picking that first cohort because everybody bonded. It was just like the first time we all met in New York. Uh, it was just like a weekend, and we all like got together. There were two girls who were celebrating their birthday that weekend, and there was a whole celebration, and there were cakes and everything. Like it was just so cool. Can't wait to share
Wow,
more about it.
the cakes.
Right?
Yeah.
He remembers
What
the
did
cake.
you like the most about VSP leaderships? People's
Cake.
birthdays and the cake.
I love that. Things that I'd like to discuss next year. I'm just going to go through my Audible, and I think my Audible kind of encapsulates things I'm working on that I think we could dive more into. Entrepreneurship. I think we've had some good private practice docs, but I think it'd be cool to talk about. If someone's like, "Hey, how do I start a business? What do I think about? Like, how do I, what is the step-by-step guide of how do I start a business?" Right? You can talk about, you should get an accountant, you should get a lawyer, you should what kind of conversations you should have, no matter what type of entrepreneurship you're looking at. Another topic that I think would be really cool is, we've talked about mental health and things about the workplace, but not taking things personally, and that's something that I've been working on. The book I'm reading is called Let Them. It's called basically where you let people think what they want and not take things personally yourself, and how to not let other people and external environment affect your own mental health. And I think that's a really valuable lesson, especially in the workplace, right? It's easy when maybe patients say something or your office staff or something, but kind of finding that strength internally to ignore all that when it's needed. So I think those would be two things that I'd love for us to discuss.
I love, JD, how you mentioned the how-to guides. I'm telling you, like in 2026, I think we're gonna be doing more like how-tos or step-by-step pods.
I love it. Once a month, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Well, all right. I mean, we talked about some pods that we loved, some great guests we had, whether it's now, this year, or before. We talked about where we want this pod to go. We would love to hear from you all. So like Doug was saying before, please comment or message us directly. We're always open to topic ideas, and we want to be uncomfortable. We want to help growth here, and that's our passion, our mission, whether it's optometry or not. So please reach out and let us know. Any last thoughts, guys, on 2025 before we get to 2026 here?
A lot of new things. A lot of, we're trying to expand season 4, and I think we got our Spotify Wrapped, and we did pretty good on there. But we're growing every year, and it's nice to grow with the audience and grow with each other, and growth with Just Deep and all that good stuff. So I think like a lot of good things to come. And just like, again, just cultivating our own friendships is like the most important, because the pod doesn't work unless we work. So just supporting each other and being there for each other outside of the podcast, I think too, is going to be a lot of things changing. Life changes for everyone. So
No, that's so true. Like when you said that quote reminds me of my buddy. He told me this example. We're like a grocery cart, right? We're all 4 of the wheels. All 4 of the wheels have to go in order for the whole cart to move. If one wheel is not moving, grocery cart's not going to move. And so we need to be in unison as a team, and everybody take that mentality into whatever team you're in order for us to move and go where we want to go.
exactly.
I think the last things I want to mention was like our Spotify recap, because I think that we've had a lot of growth. We increased in total listening by 38%, which is almost half. Our number 1 episode, according to Spotify, was What I Wished I Knew in Optometry School. And then last thing I wanted to mention is that we're a top 10 show for 77 fans, which like maybe some people are like 77 is not a lot, but considering at one point we'd get like 3 people listening, like 70
people, that's amazing.
Yeah, like
It's
that's
just up from here,
yeah.
Top
So
10. You're trying to be top
I
5.
think we were in 11 countries, got listened to. I think our growth was like 110% or something this year. So
Let's quadruple it next year. You know what it is.
yeah, our total new audience went up 999%, and we have a 42 increase in followers, 42%. 110 increase in audience.
I think next year my favorite thing will be JD getting a mic that is plugged in and works finally. So I'm really looking forward.
I'll work on it. Right now, it is.
I didn't want to say it, but
It's not plugged in or working, but it's there. So
But
it's
but
something.
he's still
Called
doing
out.
great.
Called out. Thank you. That's
No,
what I
but
tell
just this whole year it's not been either on or plugged in or work. So next year, some goals for us.
So next year we'll start podcast jail again. No, I'm just kidding.
Respect your elders. I've been practicing for 11 years now.
Yeah, true.
I love it. Wow.
On that note, see you guys in 2026.
Yes, it was a great fun year. See you next year.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Rosh.
Happy Hanukkah.
All the things. Hanukkah. Happy New Year. See y'all next year.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Depth Perception Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all of our platforms, including
Spotify,
Instagram,
Google Podcast,
Apple Podcast.
YouTube. Make sure you click that button. Double tap that.
So you guys have no reason not to follow us and tune in to the next episode.
Stop wasting time.
Get in depth.
Subscribe.